The power of student voices. Some of you here may believe in this phrase wholeheartedly. Content is king. Problem is, many teachers focus only on content, and there's a problem with that. Let's take a look at why the US needs some change. This is a chart of student performance scores in math from the Program for International Student Assessment that are the yardstick of international brain power. Notice Singapore is almost 100 points higher in math scores for 15-year-olds than the USA. While policymakers in the United States were taking music, art, and recess out of our schools to make more time for reading drills, Singapore was declaring those extras essential to educating the next generation of thinkers. Singapore is looking to educate students to ask questions and look for answers, think in new ways, solve new problems, and create new opportunities. Then Finland. It also has higher math scores. Why? The Finnish kids are playing and applying what they know, while the American kids are stressed and cramming for the test. Schools in Finland reward creativity and inclusiveness and work to make the students feel like a central part of the wider society that extends beyond the school walls. Canada, our northern neighbors, placed in the top 5 in science, math, and literacy scores in 2015. On June 15, 2009, Ontario rolled out an early learning program which put learning-based play at the center of their educational agenda. All of these countries are creating educational initiatives that are student-centered and based on the learning sciences. What does the science say about educating successful children? What are the skills they need to prosper in the world? The 6 C's. In Becoming Brilliant, What Science Tells Us About Raising Successful Children, Drs. Roberta Michnik-Golinkoff and Dr. Kathy Hirsch-Pasek share what the learning sciences tell us about how to rear children to succeed in the 21st century with the 6 C's. Let's explore the 6 C's that support happy, healthy, thinking, caring, and social children. I'm not going to go too deep into content. You know it all. I just want to share a powerful excerpt from Becoming Brilliant, page 118. When content is the sole focus of education, all the other C's fall by the wayside. Collaboration and getting along with peers is not needed. Kids take tests as individuals. Communication is irrelevant. When all children do is fill in bubbles, why be concerned with communication? We seriously need to get our bearings back if we are to craft environments in and out of school that support happy, healthy, thinking, caring, and social children who become collaborative, creative, competent, and responsible citizens tomorrow. And content by itself is never enough. Executive function skills that help children control themselves so they can learn are essential for success in school and in life. Collaboration is essential to how humans learn, how they accomplish tasks, and how they improve their work performance. Collaboration is the ultimate soft skills that all other skills build on, because when we enter the world alone and incompetent, the first thing we do is make contact with other humans. In business, in science, and in virtually any profession, collaboration is the new normal. It embraces a set of soft skills that we need to master if we are to be successful. Creative innovation is the ability to produce a number of different responses to new problems. It is creating new solutions from old parts, like becoming master tinkerers. Communication simply involves speaking so others will understand your message, writing clearly and well so others will comprehend what you have written, and truly listening. Critical thinking is using reasoned judgment by analyzing, synthesizing, and evaluating information. Without critical thinking, we would just blindly accept whatever we heard without questioning. Making informed choices demands that we question, not just repeat what we have learned. Confidence has 2 components. The first is willingness to try. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. The other is persistence. How long before you give up? If at first you don't succeed, try again. Our failures give us a way to compare what works and what does not, and it is important to think about failure as an opportunity rather than as a defeat. So how can we incorporate the 6 C's into our classroom without changing the entire curriculum? Publish a classroom magazine with your students. Let's go over how a class magazine will meet the 6 C's. This is a table of the different levels in each of the 6 C's. We'll go over each one and see how to target it effectively with the inclusion of a class magazine. You can see the 6 C's at the top and the levels 4, 3, 2, 1 on the sides. Collaboration. Level 1 is an I do, then you do type of collaboration. The authors of Becoming Brilliant mention that sadly we see level 1 in many, though not all, of the nation's classrooms. Level 2 happens when collaborative partners divide up the task. No real collaboration is happening other than breaking down a task into simpler pieces. Level 3, people go back and forth to solve a common goal. Although back and forth discussions do increase learning over time, over the usual sitting in your seat competitive kind of learning. And then finally in level 4, building it together, it requires people to have a common goal, to trust, to value opinions, and to have a sense of joint responsibility. People collaborating at level 4 respect each other and allow each other to speak their minds. It is easy to see how a classroom magazine inspires level 4 collaboration, with students working together, building on each other's strengths with a common goal in mind, where the input of each group member is valued. In communication, level 1 is going to be raw emotion, crying, lashing out when angry, or grabbing something when you want it. Level 1, children are often in trouble. Then level 2 is going to be show and tell. Too much telling and very little listening. The authors of Becoming Brilliant mention that many classrooms across America function at a level 2. Level 3 communication is achieved when people are responsive to what each other has to say. They take the perspective of the listener. And then finally, level 4 communication requires people to tell a joint story. It is reflected in pretend play, and it rises above level 3 because they are building a story together. Students will practice level 4 communication when writing for a class magazine effectively to communicate their voice and opinions. In content, level 1 is routines, patterns, and imitation. Level 1 happens when students cram for a test the next day and passed, but if they took it again a week later, they would fail. In level 2, knowledge is more explicit, although it's still shallow and pretty limited. In level 3, students can apply what they have learned to real-world situations and make connections. And then finally, level 4 is expertise. Experts can explain and demonstrate and come up with multiple examples, as one would do in a magazine. They would not be able to produce a piece of content without first fully studying the topic. Next up, we do have critical thinking. Level 1 is going to be as simple seeing as believing. Children only believe what they see and what they are told. Level 2, truths differ, meaning people recognize that there are multiple points of view. And then in level 3, people recognize that there are other points of view, but they still rely too heavily on their own personal reality. They rely too much on opinion over evidence. Most businesses operate at this level. In level 4, people make choices between positions based on the evidence. So at this point, Google is going to be your best friend. Students will practice critical thinking when they evaluate how to set up a magazine. Creativity, level 1 is experimentation, when people are exploring and discovering with no goal in mind. And in level 2, people use their creativity towards a particular goal, exploring potential solutions to problems. Level 3 is achieved only after mastering levels 1 and 2 and having content to work with. So when they see opportunities for improvement, people can creatively solve problems. Level 2 does use personal expression. Level 4 creativity is hard to reach. It is setting out to solve a particular problem. It's important to know, though, that level 4 creative thinkers do not give up. Level 4 creative innovation demands confidence. Creativity will be practiced often when creating like video, art, or writing pieces for the class magazine. Students may even come up with other ideas for the magazine that were not thought of before. Confidence at a level 1 is thinking you know more than you do and barreling on. At a level 2, people start to compare themselves with others, although sometimes this lowers a person's confidence. At a level 3, people take calculated risks, as in actions that have been planned and risks that have been forethought. And at a level 4, people dare to fail, knowing that they will have to fail in order to succeed, however long it may take. Students may create pieces that they are proud of, and these go straight into the magazine, while other pieces they will need to continue working on or start over until they create something they feel is worthy of publication. So what I want you to do right now is head on over to your emails, where you will find an email from me with a link to collaborate in a magazine. And then you'll go over to that page and you will type your name in and click collaborate. Here you will be able to pick out a template. The template I like is the Tribune, and I changed the name, so I click validate, but you can click and choose from a number of different templates. And so you validate, and here you start typing maybe your name and an about you or about me, and how I differentiate in the classroom. So start typing up your about me and how you differentiate in the classroom, and when you are done, you should click send. So this is an example of mine, who I am and how I differentiate. As you all finish your pages, you will be able to take a look at the completed magazine, which includes a handout from this presentation with all of the information we went over. You can see it on the screen, as well as all of the attendees' tips on differentiating learning in their own classrooms. You'll be able to keep this and use this in your own classrooms, but don't forget that online magazines are not the only way to create classroom magazines. You can also have paper magazines, create your own, use Google Drive, use Word, any way to create student magazines to promote the 6 C's.